Some spirits announce themselves with screams, others with omens, blood, or sudden death. And then there are the ones you almost don't notice, the ones you mistake for something human. A limping figure on a dark road, a woman who walks strangely, a man whose shadow doesn't quite line up with his body. In Philippine folklore, there's a name for this kind of presence: Pilay. Hello, witches and wanderers, and welcome back to the Morbid Witch Podcast. I'm your host, Kari, and tonight we return to Southeast Asian folklore, to the Philippines, a land shaped by layered mythologies, colonial rupture, animism, Catholic syncretism, and deeply intimate ghost stories. Tonight, we're talking about Pilay, a spirit, apparition, or spiritual entity often recognized by one defining feature: a crooked walk, a limp, or a distorted movement that signals something is deeply wrong. Pilay is not one single being. It is a category of unease, a warning wrapped in familiarity. Philippine mythology is rooted in animism, the belief that spirits inhabit places, objects, and people. Long before colonial influence, the world was understood as layered, with the visible and invisible constantly overlapping. Even after centuries of Spanish colonization and Catholic doctrine, these beliefs never disappeared. Instead, they merged. Pilay exists in that overlap, not as a grand demon or named god, but as a localized, intimate horror, the kind whispered about rather than written down. The word Pilay in Tagalog literally means lame or crippled, someone who walks with difficulty. In folklore, Pilay refers to a supernatural being that reveals itself through an unnatural gait. It may appear human at first glance: a woman walking alone, a man on the roadside, a familiar face seen at the wrong hour. But if you watch carefully, something is off. One leg drags, one foot never touches the ground. The rhythm of the steps feel wrong. That distortion is the warning. Pilay is often understood not as a single spirit, but as a trait shared by many supernatural entities. Aswang, Encanto, wandering ghosts, or malevolent spirits temporarily wearing human form. In many stories, the limp is not an injury, but a flaw in the disguise, a spirit mimicking humanity imperfectly. It is the moment where the mask slips. Pilay stories almost always occur at night. A traveler walking home sees someone ahead of them, moving slowly. They call out. The figure does not respond. As the distance closes, the traveler notices the limp. If the traveler greets the figure politely, avoids staring, or turns away entirely, they are often left unharmed. If they mock, follow, or confront it, the story rarely ends well. In Philippine folklore, respect is protection. Pilay is often used as a moral warning. Do not laugh at the disabled, the strange, or the marginalized. Doing so invites punishment, supernatural or otherwise. This blurring of ethical behavior and spiritual danger reinforces communal values. Cruelty is not just immoral, it is unsafe. Pilay punishes arrogance. Many Pilay encounters are later revealed to involve aswang, shape-shifting entities known for feeding on blood, flesh, or fear. In these stories, the limp is a sign that the aswang's transformation is incomplete. One leg remains reversed. One foot points backwards. One movement betrays the truth. Pilay becomes a diagnostic sign, a way for humans to recognize danger before it is too late. Not all Pilay are predators. Some are believed to be restless spirits, souls who died violently, improperly, or without burial rites. Their limp reflects the trauma of death, carried into the afterlife. They walk endlessly, unable to rest, replaying the damage done to them. In these stories, Pilay is tragic rather than malicious. Spanish colonization reframed many indigenous spirits as demons or spirits in purgatory. Pilay stories absorbed Christian ideas of punishment, sin, and wandering spirits. A limping apparition became a sign of divine judgment, or a soul trapped between heaven and hell. Yet, the older animist framework never vanished. Pilay remains spiritually ambiguous. Pilay serves another purpose: preservation of memory. Stories are passed orally, grandparents warning children, neighbors recounting encounters. Each retelling reinforces caution, empathy, and respect for the unseen. Pilay is not written into scripture. It walks in living memory. Even in modern Philippine cities, Pilay stories persist. A CCTV camera catches a limping figure that vanishes. A taxi driver refuses to pick up a passenger walking strangely. A security guard swears he saw someone whose feet never touched the ground. Technology hasn't erased Pilay. It has just given it new places to appear. Pilay terrifies because it is subtle. It doesn't roar. It doesn't chase. It doesn't announce itself. It asks one thing of you: to pay attention. The horror is in realizing too late that what you assumed was human was not. Pilay reflects how societies treat those who move differently, physically, socially, spiritually. It forces a question. When we see someone limping in the dark, do we offer kindness or contempt? The answer may determine what follows you home. Pilay is not always evil. Sometimes it is a test. Sometimes a warning. Sometimes a memory that refuses to lie down. In the Philippines, the road at night is never empty. You are always being watched, and sometimes measured. Thank you for listening to the Morbid Witch Podcast. If this episode made you glance twice at shadows on the road, good. Some folklore exists to keep us alert and humble. Follow the podcast on Spotify, YouTube, and iHeartRadio. And join me on TikTok as we continue to explore the spirits that walk beside humanity. Until then, stay strange, stay spooky, and remember, the shadows are always watching.